Well, initially it was a language that I needed for research purposes. Clearly, never is Yiddish just a language that you're studying for research purposes, neither if you claim it is, nor if you own the fact that it never is. And you know that because the very first day of any Yiddish class, you're always asked, why are you studying Yiddish? And I have never been asked that in a German class or a Russian class or a Hebrew class, actually, for that matter. I'm trying to think. I think not even a Hebrew class, but in a Yiddish class, always, the first day, one goes around the room and says, why are you here? Presuming one needs an explanation, as opposed to because I want to learn the language. That's clearly never a sufficient explanation for why someone is in the room. So when that was always my answer. My first year in Yiddish class, that was always my answer. It was sort of a dafka answer. It was like, I know you want me to say it's because I'm nostalgic and miss my booby and want to connect to the old country, but it's really because I need this language to access the documents and the published materials that I need. Okay, so obviously me having to say that was equally as, was equal proof that there was something more going on here. And clearly it had to do with family and relationships. I think most of the people who study this area of history have personal connections to it. So it's pretty hard to get away from that. Heritage studiers of Yiddish culture. I started writing letters to my grandmother in Yiddish, for example, and I still remember the day when she wrote back to me in Yiddish. She's like, your Yiddish is now better than mine. Because she had not been speaking or writing Yiddish for 50, 60 years probably by that point. So I didn't know whether that was a triumph. There was something bittersweet about having your grandmother say your Yiddish is now better than mine. I think for her it was mostly sweet, but there's also this sense of your grandparents sort of gave up their culture to fully assimilate into American culture.
And how did that make you feel?
Oh, I mean, it was definitely bittersweet. It was that relationship with my grandmother through letter writing, I think, that put an overlay of familial nostalgia on studying Yiddish. Because if I went into studying Yiddish for the need to access archival documents and published materials, I've certainly come out of it being one who both fosters it as an intellectual exercise and also sort of recognizes the need for preservation, for study, and for propagation. So yeah, I was a convert, shall we say, from the Yiddish programs, recognizing that we're doing this oral history project, for example. The very fact that we're doing it is part of the issue. It's part of what has kept me, I guess, involved in not just Yiddish language, but the Yiddish world, which is, I think, what we're talking about here.